Shalom, who praises Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harakah Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone over well. And shalom to the whole full elect. This is Paya Allah. This is news and prophecy, prophecy and news. Update. The date today, I believe, is 21st. All right. And as you know, as we always do, going into present current events, news, things happening around the world of great importance when lined up with the prophecies inside of the Holy Bible, because we've been instructed to watch as well as pray. All right. And what are we watching for? We're watching for the prophecies to come to pass. We're measuring the time diligently. All right. And waiting upon the arrival of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, once he gets the green light. But he laid out a list of signs of the times for us to know what time we're in. So, I got a couple scriptures. I got a couple articles, as I usually do, free. Just stick to free. And but I got some complimentary bits as well, articles and whatnot. And I'm just gonna kick it off. So I'm gonna start with this one from Zero Hedge. The title reads World War 3.1. I ain't gone through this one, but it's a lot longer than I thought. But I'm gonna pick up a little bit at the beginning. So this is the book. This is from Zero Hedge, World War 3.1. All right. It says, there's been more discussion about World War III in the past year than at any time in recent memory. All right? So what does that say immediately? That says that the war drums are banging and they're forming a crescendo. All right? Let me look up that word for any brother that don't know what that means, or any sister that don't know what that means. Crescendo. All right? So, crescendo.
Crescendo.
All right? The loudest point reached in a gradual increase in sound. The highest point reached in a progressive increase of intensity. All right? It comes from music, and usually it's used in classical with string. Timpanis. I'm gonna just have to look it up because drum. Yeah, you can look up the sound. You've heard it before. It's like, well, the only song come to mind first, I was thinking about earlier today, was Trina. Imagine Trina and Ludacris, Slip and Slide. When you hear that boom, 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 that drum, they usually use it in classical music. But you have like a strings crescendo, or you could have the timpani drum crescendos. All right. But the point being is that it's a gradual increase in sound or a progressive increase in intensity. And that's what we see happening right now. And that's why that's being said in the article. So let's read it again. So it says, read again from the top. So it says, there has been more discussion about World War III in the past year than at any time in recent memory. All right? Because why? We're getting closer to that time. All right? But World War III plays a very important role in terms of just the prophecies, but there's in terms of the Lord making his return, it's one of the major moving parts. But it has to be. It's gonna have to happen. Other things have to happen before and after, or even coincide with it, to actually make the World War III come to effect, basically. All right, so it says, yet we can't help but wonder if World War III isn't a misnomer and World War version 3.1 is more accurate, because chips and semiconductors are likely going to play a huge. Wow, shit, that's the spirit, man. I just read the first sentence and that's what just wrote me in. But I didn't know that's what it was talking about. All right, cool. So it says, because chips and semiconductors are likely going to play a huge role in initiating and winning any such global conflict. All right, now these lot got my attention now. But what comes to mind initially when I read that is Taiwan. All right, because when we read about the prophecies, it says there's going to be wars and rumors of wars. And the war that's currently raging right now is between Russia and Ukraine. You just had Biden just pop up their surprise appearance to boost morale over there. Say they're gonna invest in them, and that Russia on the back foot and they can't handle us right now. That's a real morale booster in terms of in the Western world with NATO and the EU and being defiant. But, I believe that's a play because at the same time, his tongue fell upon himself and he basically, there's a clip out there that shows that, if there was an explosion with the Nord Stream pipeline, America did it. So they gotta go over there and kind of, make amends and go out on a limb, all right, to kind of keep the morale and that block together, of NATO and the EU being out of the beast system. Okay, because remember, it says that they, part was strong and part was weak, and that, as iron is mixed with clay, it don't really stick. And so they're trying to keep that bond together. But anyway, point being is that coinciding with that Russia and Ukraine war is what? The rumor of China going into Taiwan because they have a long-standing beef with them, being that they're a rogue province, you could say, that basically just jumped ship and started doing their own thing and sided with the Western world so they could go about their business. And turns out they struck gold because they are, the pioneers in terms of the microchip industry right now. And it's kind of like whoever has Taiwan holds the keys to the future of the earth. All right. So anyway, let's read it again. So it says, yet we can't help but wonder if World War III isn't a misnomer and World War v.3, which reminds me of Windows or something, World War version 3.1 is more accurate, because chips and semiconductors are likely going to play a huge role in initiating and winning any such global conflict. All right, the tech space generically likes using versions and decimalized numbers rather than Roman numerals. So let's run with that. This is more of a thought piece than something that is actionable today. However, we think that it is important to be laying out the background of how we are thinking about this important subject. It is something that comes up in more conversations and dominated the discussions we had when we were in Silicon Valley back in January. It will shape discussions and influence who wins and loses at the national and corporate levels. The Intel CEO at Davos, all right, where Klaus Schwab, I believe, heading that, said that chip supply chains will shape geopolitics more than oil over the next 50 years. So that shows you they're moving their energy resource from the petrol dollar, oil, towards electronics, all right, the chipping system. Okay. 50 years seems, and really that's the beast system, all right, being an MOTB. That's going to be the main driving force in this man's society that he would like to establish, all right, which he's hoping to establish, that new world order. 50 years seems almost too long of a time frame. It is already shaping geopolitics, and getting it right in the next 5 to 10 years, not 50 years, will be crucial. Yeah, because dealing with, the planet hand, they want to have certain things put in place by the end of this decade. All right, and that's why you're seeing great leaps and bounds being made on all fronts, to basically establish that. And I'm talking moral, dealing with the mindset of the people, dealing with the infrastructure of society, dealing with the money, the finance on all planes. They got agendas being rolled out with a deadline of the next 2, 5, or even the end of the decade. All right, wherever is relevant. Okay, so it says back in Slovakia, academy, academy, Academy's geopolitical Slovakia, man. Academy's geopolitical intelligence group addressed rare earths and national security threat back in February 2021. During meetings, our position has been that securing and processing rare earths and critical minerals will dominate our commodity efforts in the coming years. 10 years ago, all you needed was a map of energy production, and you could pinpoint U.S. interests. In 5 years, all you will need will be a map of major cobalt, lithium, etc. deposits to determine where the U.S. will be most active. The sad reality is that China figured it out years ago, and we are just now seeing the urgency of the issue. So World War is laying there, and that plays into Taiwan and all these types of things. All right, so let me hit you up with some scriptures for progress. All right, so it's the book of Revelations 8:13. It says, "And I beheld and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound." All right, those three woes basically are three destructions which speak of war, the prophesying of three wars that have to take place upon the earth. All right, and right now we are speedily heading to that third world war. So this is Revelations 11:14. As it read in the article, a crescendo. I mean, it's getting, the World War III is getting spoken of more frequently. All right, Revelations 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, so the second woe happened when? Yeah, the first one, 1914 to 1980, the Great War, the war to end all wars. All right, then it was followed by, which was relatively quickly, by what? By World War II. All right, 1939 to 1945. And now we're here, nearly 100 years later, just shy of like 90 years, 80 years after that. All right, 1939. Of basically what? World War III speedily heading to us at this present time that we live in. So that shows you, some might say, oh, but that's nearly a century. No, the scripture says it's coming quickly. All right. So, and the article just let you know, because it's uttering the same thing and it's letting it be known. All right. So it's the last one I'll give you, because you can see there's a divide. They said China are aware of this prior to them. All right. I'll read this one. Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, which they're doing, as you can see. All right, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords. All right, they're moving away from. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not doing it, but their point of interest is what? Ain't about farming. Even it was said in the article. All right, farming is a real pastime. But even after that came the oil. But they're saying they're doing away with that. They need to establish these mines. All right. So that requires what? Warfare. So it says, verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. And that's what's happening. China, once upon a time, you had them getting drugged in the opium wars. All right. They shot the Western world from entering into their kingdoms. All right. And they basically weaseled their way in and overcame them and made them subject unto them. And now China has grew to be, the new bully, all right, according to the prophecy of what? Psalms, where it says that Moab will be a washpot unto Edom, or washpot, and over Edom will I cast my shoe. I just gotta read that, man, because Lord's funny, man. Psalm 60:8. Moab is my washpot, over Edom will I cast out my shoe. All right? And that's what the Lord is accomplishing right now. That's what we're seeing. That's why they said, what did they say in the article? They said China is already doing it. All right? So let me read that. I just picked up on something in the next paragraph. I might read that as well, actually. The sad reality is that China figured this out years ago. All right? That washpot, man. They're casting that shoe. And Bush ain't in office for him to be ducking it. Biden, he's right there. That shoe's landing right on the side of his temple, man. All right. The sad reality is that China figured this out years ago, and we are just now seeing the urgency of the issue. I've said half jokingly, but most serious, that the West has a vision for sustainability, but no workable plan to get there, while China has no vision but a great plan to secure the resources that they think the West will need. Bang. Washpot, man. So let me just read one more verse, because all this is happening for what? World War III. So it says, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, till cause the mighty ones to come down. O Lord, let the heathen be wakened. Come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which Jehoshaphat is Hebrew, meaning what? Yahweh Shaphat, all right? That's the translation, meaning the Most High's judgment, okay? For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's the point. The Lord is doing this for him to judge all of the heathen, all right? That's why World War III is happening. So let me move to this, actually, hot on the heels of that. It's an article I read a week ago, and I forgot to actually do a video on it. But it plays into what I just read, actually. So this is from The Guardian. The title reads, German politicians and military chiefs suggest return of conscription. All right, let's look up what the word conscription means. Conscription, compulsory enlistment into national or military service. Conscription is a state of mandated enlistment of people in the national service, mainly a military service. Conscription dates back to antiquity, Slovakia, and it continues in some countries to the present day under various names. The modern system of near universal national conscription for young men dates to the French Revolution in the 1790s, where it became the basis of a very large and powerful military. So basically, drafting of soldiers. So let me read this. And we'll get into the article again. Oh, 16. Actually, I'll say, let me read a little bit. Okay, I know where I'm at. All right, so it says political and military figures in Germany have suggested a return of compulsory military service after the new defense minister described the 2011 phase out of general conscription as a mistake that had contributed to alienating the general public from civic institutions. All right, so basically they're saying they became soft, all right, and they didn't feel obliged to work within civic institutions like the military, all right. So that being said, you know, that I mean, in light of everything that's happened to Germany, when we're dealing with, they've just been pressured to supply artillery to Ukraine. They had America basically blast their Nord Stream gas pipeline, the supplies they were getting from Russia. They're pretty vulnerable, man. All right, and them being the wise men, the wise men are teaming. I mean, they're missing the one key component to actually have, some real say so, right? Swing some weight around, and that's a military force, right? I guess they were relying on America. The German parliamentary commissioner for the armed forces, Eva Hogel, of the centre-left SPD, on Wednesday urged the government to ask itself whether some form of obligatory. Let's look up this word, man. I'm trying to become a professional English speaker. My English is poor, man.
Obligatory. Obligatory.
Obligatory. All right. So it says obligatory. Civic service was required to address staff shortages in German army's ranks. We definitely need more personnel in Bundeswehr, Hegel told the Augsburger Allgemeine newspaper. The chief of the German Navy, Jan Christian Kack, also recently proposed a return of mandatory military service along the Norwegian model, whereby men and women are called in for an examination upon turning 19, but only a small motivated percentage of each year group is drafted into the army. That kind of, falls in line with the book of Deuteronomy, right? But aside from the fact that women are also going to have a part to play. But I believe, I'll read this a little bit more. So it says, I believe that a nation that needs to become more resilient in times like these will have a higher level of awareness if it's mixed through with soldiers, said Cat. See? So they feel like there's an urge for, the public to be more up on game. All right. So this is playing into what? The World War III sentiment that is building up. And it's building up to what? Prophetic words that are written inside of the Bible coming to pass, man. So we're in that time. All right. We're nearly there, man. Lift up your heads. Your salvation draweth nigh. So this is 2nd Ezra 16. And I'm going to start from... you can read from 19 down. But for the sake of time, I'm going to start from verse 24. So it says, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and they shall and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. All right, and that's what's gonna. Not only the fact that there's gonna be a great drop in men, being that women already double men in population, there's gonna be a great drought of men, but men to the letter are not even around anyway with the amount of, the scarcity of men there is in this day. So that's what's even on top of that is going to make a man of the Heavenly Father, the man of the Most High, an elect man of the children of Israel, more precious than fine gold. He's going to be hiding for a covert from the wind, all right? Because it's going to be, women are really going to desire to see men. And they would be happy to see any kind of man. But to see a man that really understands what's going on, that would be a surety and a blessing. All right? Because remember, hey, like Yahushua said, there was many widows in the time of Elijah, but he found but he was with that widow. All right? So it's the same thing that's going to happen in these days. The men of the Lord that are going to be preserved, until the time when Yahushua makes his return or to whatever lot, the men of the Lord have within this, and a woman or individuals are blessed enough to come into company with them, they're going to be rejoicing to the heavens, man. All right? So the other point I want to say, it says the trees shall give fruit. And remember, it's going to be famine. People are going to want to eat. All right? But at the same time, you're just going to have it in the wilderness, just fruit being bad, or boar. And no one's going to gather them. All right? So reading on, it says, verse 27. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. For of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 in the field, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks, as in an orchard of olives upon every tree where are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with a sword. So you can have groups, rallying together and basically gonna, form raids and, come down on people and do whatever, maybe be cannibals, whatever the Heavenly Father's got for them to do. They're going to do that as well, all right? Raiding teams. The movie The Road shows you that, man, all right? And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and the ways and all the paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel there through. All right, and I've seen things like that in small patches of greenery, where you leave it for a number of months, and then the path where you walked, it don't even exist no more. I'm talking about like a back bush, like residential area. Then it's like, the fenced garden. Then behind the garden, there's a little bit of bush. They manicure it every so often. But if they don't do it for a period of time, that shit just grows into the Amazon. All right. Verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. And this being the point, The women shall mourn having no husbands, their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the wars, plural, shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. All right? So this is, and I read about the groves, I mentioned it. They're saying the trees shall give fruit, who shall gather them, and who shall gather them? But there's going to be people dying from famine. All right? And there's also going to be what? Wars. And the bridegrooms are going to be conscripted to fight in a war. All right? They're going to be the able-bodied men, and they're going to be destroyed in those battles. All right? In this warfare. All right? So we're heading into that time of what? Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. All right? Now, I mentioned it a while ago, or I mentioned it quite often. I mention it quite often about the beginning of sorrows, man. All right? How, the Lord mentioned it, and it was mentioned as well in the book of 2nd Esdras, man. All right? So let me go to this last thing I've got. This is dealing with Ohio, the oil spillage. All right? And this is quite an interesting one. I want to really check it out because I'm going to have to upload some clips. Shit, I closed it. Shit, man. Okay. Let me play this first.
McDonald's. I set out to find the most normal memes in Ohio, and these were the only ones I could find.
No, that's not it. This one's slow.
As a proud native of Ohio, I would like to say on behalf of all of us, stop the memes, okay? You guys are projecting this image out there that Ohio is some type of weird apocalyptic hellscape, and we just quite frankly don't appreciate it, okay? This is what Ohio looks like. Completely normal, all right? It's a completely normal state. So if you post any memes, please delete it out of respect for us, because we are... What? Alright, so we're experiencing a couple technical difficulties, but look, this is as alien as it gets, okay? Cornfields, crop circles, no actual aliens or any other demonic monstrosities or anything like that, okay? So, please, just know that Ohio is normal. Please come to Ohio, okay? I need some actual friends. And... What? Bob, are you propping the wall up properly? Well, why does it keep on? Alright, so back to what I was saying about Ohio being completely normal, okay? This is what it looks like, okay? We ain't got no zombies, alright? You know what I'm saying? We need some normal people to come here because everybody got body snatched. And the wall fell, didn't it? Bob, let me talk to you real quick. Let me talk to you real quick, Bob. Just real quick. Let me talk to you real quick.
So if you ain't aware, I only just got aware of this, but it's basically a thing of like, it's funny because Florida used to get this kind of what's the word I'm looking for, reputation, all right? But Ohio, through the memes as of late, is basically the same kind of reputation, all right? So in this, I'm gonna play the first bit.
Ohio, should you be worried? Are you in danger? Why is Ohio so weird? Let's find out. Well, why worry about what appears to be a non-threatening state? After all, Ohio is known for corn and soybeans, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and even Superman was made in Ohio. All those things seem pretty non-threatening, so it doesn't really make sense. Until you consider how many people are allergic to soy and corn, that Madonna was inducted into the Ohio vs. the world is a meme that... Now, why was this mess? Ohio have a bitter rivalry war over the city of US to make sense to why the non-threatening state has become a meme. Ohio vs. the world is a meme that originated all the way back in 2016, with this image that was posted to Tumblr which featured an ominous message on a bus stop. Now, why was this message posted to that bus stop? I have no damn clue, but my...
Simple. I'm gonna upload that video, Lord willing. All right, but that's where, so Ohio gets that kind of stick, where it's like apocalyptic, weird, like anything can happen. And it all stemmed from that one random signage of Ohio must be eliminated. All right. Now, Ohio forms very, important in the world standing. I'm probably going to go through a couple points and then just read a little bit. Because it forms basically the Ohio River. All right. So Ohio River flows through or borders 6 states: Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. So basically their water supply goes into various other water supplies. And normally it drains into right here. Where does the Ohio River Basin drain into? The Ohio River, Sluckia. The Ohio River starts at the confluence of the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers at Pittsburgh, PA, Pennsylvania, and borders or travels through 6 states, as mentioned, before emptying into Mississippi River at Cairo, Illinois. So ultimately, that water supply feeds into the Mississippi River, all right? And there's one last point I was going to read just before I said that. Which ultimately, that's the point. The water supply just goes into various different nations. I know there was something else I was going to read, but it escapes me at this point. But it's a spirit, but I guess it's not important. So anyway, that's what it does. Now, this obviously is an issue because that water supply goes into various other states and can form, being a real issue. Being that right now you can see the oil, like the contamination reflection. People even wondering and questioning how bad toxic chemicals falling inside of the river are. Like, it's if they're toxic chemicals, they ain't meant to be consumed. There's no question, all right? But the fact that they're doing this, and there's even a debacle and a back and forth debate, and people ain't just, cut and dry about it's contaminated because of all the lobbying and whatnot, lets you know that there's something, there's a bit of mischief awry or afoot, all right? So I just want to read this. I'm kind of all over the place, but bear with me, all right? So this is all right, let me just go to the first one and just get what I need to get out of it. So it says, all so I'll just read into it. It says, so this is from the Lancet, Weaponization of Water. And this is basically what's going on right now. Actually, I'll read this scripture first. Because if you understand anything, you understand this. The principal uses. Not bad. It's the book of Sirach 39 and 26, Salakia. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are, first thing, water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of the grape, and oil and clothing. All these things are good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. And that's what we're doing right now. Why? We're in a time of Job 9 and 24, the earth being given into the hand of the wicked, which is basically the time that the Lord spoke of about him making the wicked for the day of evil. Today is their day, as Solomon spoke of in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. A time for everything under the season, every end season. All right. So now let's go back to this. So it says we read Sharmila's Divi's World Report on the cholera outbreak in Syria, and would like to emphasize how the weaponization of water, sanitation and hygiene, wash, has affected the emergence of preventable communicable disease outbreaks. This weaponization includes deliberate interference with wash, which is the quoting of what I read before, and the use of wash as a military tool, a tool of cooperation, or a tool of domination and legitimacy. And right now, the US government is at war with its citizens. It's at war with anyone that is not in cahoots with their agenda. All right? And even more so, they have a bloodlust because they don't want as many people as there are upon the earth to exist. So they're gonna get busy regardless of whether you are for it or not, because they gotta get their numbers down. And this is what we're witnessing right now. We're witnessing a culling of the people. All right. So it says water infrastructure is often indirectly damaged due to secondary reverberating effects of attacks on urban infrastructure, like shitty train tracks, poor infrastructure in place, with the railroads, as to where they've been piping up and, letting it be known that, look, this ain't safe. There's been, near misses and whatnot. You need to sort it out. It's been said on multiple occasions, because even more recently, I think, I don't know how recent it is, but you had something happen in Detroit as well, derailment over there. So it's letting it be known that they're just letting it run, all right? Because they kind of want the folly to happen, all right? For example, a Luke water system, that's the point though, all right? So you understand that weaponization of water is just basically using water as a weapon. And this is what we're witnessing now, all right? So let's read some of this. It says, it's from the Independent Ohio train derailment live. Toxic spill health concerns prompt state to open East Palestine clinic. All right. This is the latest move in extensive. Let's jump into the Ohio Department of Health is launching a clinic in East Palestine on Tuesday to address growing health concerns among residents after the 3rd of February train derailment prompted operator Norfolk Southern to release and burn a toxic chemical to avoid an explosion. There are particular concerns over the local water supply, with Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown refusing to say whether or not he would drink the water in the area. All right? So that just, if he ain't saying yes, he's saying no. All right? The ambiguity. I'm one here to correct me, man. The ambiguity of his answer lets it be known that, the nigga lying, man. All right. The lawmaker skirted around the question in an interview with CNN on Sunday, but said that he believes local residents are right to be skeptical about assurances coming from officials. All right. So you can read into it, but the point that they're setting up, a clinic now lets it be known. I mean, this could be setting up to be another outbreak, all right? because we did read just now about cholera outbreak and all these kind of things. All right. Let me check this because I see this come up more recent. Oh no, that's the other one. All right. So let me grab some scriptures on this. What was I gonna grab? Bear me one moment, man. It's lucky. Bear me one moment. It's one scripture missing in one. Okay, cool. That's it. I remember. All right, this is the book of Job 13:4. It says, "But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value." All right. So this man Esau Edom is a forger of lies, and we're seeing that right now because the senator couldn't give a straight answer. He was skirting around the question, and all he did to emphasize with the people, empathize, with the people is what I understand that he just sympathized, should I say, with the people, and just say, I understand there's a problem. You know what I mean? I don't blame you. All right. But basically now they're setting up clinics. All right. Those clinics, what are they going to do? All right. So is it in their interest to really, actually, tell you what's really going on? No. They're really there to assure you and make you feel, cool with everything that's happening. But basically just allow you to die and keep the business running as usual, as normal, sorry. All right. And this is the one I was looking for. So now with all of this going on, all right, you got brothers within the proximity of these water supplies, all right, and everything like that. But guess what? They're gonna be calm, man. All right, they're gonna be. Hey, there may be some close shaves. There's gonna be some martyrs and everything like that. But at the same time, the Heavenly Father has ordained that His servants are gonna be taken care of. This is the book of Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. All right, like you go into those water supplies, you can't go there and fish no more. You're having shows of fish are basically beaching themselves from out of the river, all right, or turning up dead. And why is that happening? All right, because it's contaminated. All right, the water's fucked up. So if you want to eat, even at certain wells that people have, they can't drink from no more. All right, but more so, what I want to say is that I believe the word is irrigates. The water supply irrigates a lot of the farmland around there. All right, and guess what? It's going to be contaminated, so you can't eat off the land. And that's another reason why these things will be happening, because why? These like Bill Gates buying up all the land, this is all being done for them to get the one up over everyone. All right, but my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. And right now you have all of them down there in Ohio, they're real thirsty. But my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, we, Lord willing, servants of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakar Kodash, are going to rejoice. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Okay? So with that, that's the lesson, man. That's the update. Lord willing, you was edified. To the next one. Say shalom, shalom, shalom.